Hi and welcome back to Spirit Lounge again. I hope this mic is working. Yes, it is. Okay, great. Here's the next installment of the Apocrypha. We're moving on to the revelation of Abraham. This is again as much as I could take out of that was relevant or had some usefulness, so we just move straight into it. Hopefully my the slowness and the locking has stopped, because it seems to be happening a lot on this laptop. It's kind of forcing me, I think, to buy another one. I think this is what I'm being told. I think this is the message that I'm being told. We won't go down that road in a moment. So, okay. The revelation of Abraham, the Apocalypse, also called the Apocalypse of Abraham, called the Revelation of Abraham. It's between 70 and 150 AD. It's always written after the history of Abraham in his father's house and his conversation with monotheism. Remember, Abraham had a problem with his father, who basically was worshipping idols, because the family he was working for was worshipping idols. He started worshipping idols, and Abraham had a problem with that. And he's talking about monotheism, about the one God, and he's disliking the idol worship and having this conversation with his parents. So we've actually heard this before, but it goes through it again. Okay, searching as to who the mighty God is truth. Who mighty God is truth is. I, Abraham, I fulfill the sacrifices of my father Terah, to his gods of wood and stone, gold and silver, brass and iron. When I saw it in my heart, I was perplexed. I made it known to my father. When both of us moved him forward, his head fell from him. So basically, they moved an idol on the altar. Many idols. One of them, the head fell off one of them. He correctly hewed another Meramath, which is another pagan god, stewed another head for this idol out of another stone. He made 5 other gods and went towards the inn to sell them. The Syrians saw that, and so he told Abraham to go sell these gods. So basically they're making idols to represent all manner of things, and just invent them and sell them as gods, and then people bought those because they thought they were gods. And the Syrians saw him who were going to hurt Abraham, and they saw that he had gods. And he said, "Give us the gods that remain in the bag. What evil deed is that my father is doing? Is it not rather they worship my father, since they are his work?" So he's basically saying, well, if they're gods and his father's making these idols and they're gods and they want to worship the gods, should they not worship the creator of those gods? Very, very interesting comment, and true in many ways. I said in my heart, how can Meramath, my father's god, head of another stone and repaired, hear man's prayer and reward him? Because it's made out of stone, of course. I placed Barisat before the kindled fire. And returning, I found Barisat fallen backwards and his feet surrounded by fire. Barisat is another pagan god that there was on the idol, that they on the altar. "Oh, Barisat, you can kindle the fire and cook food," he would say. "Praise you, God, Barisat, because loving you more, he has cast himself into the fire to cook your food. I make another today." This is what Terah is saying to Abraham. "Do I call the moon or the stars God, because they also in their season obscure the light in the night?" Very, very good statement. "My father, God, to my father Terah, God who has made everything, not these we consider gods. Who then is he? There comes down the voice of the mighty one from the heaven in a fiery rainstorm. Abraham, Abraham, here I am. You are seeking in the understanding of your heart the God of gods and the Creator. I am he. I do not fear, for I am before the worlds. Go bring me a young heifer, a female goat, a ram, turtle dove and a pigeon, and bring me a pure sacrifice." So again, this is where I have an absolute problem with this God. This God, number one, wants you to sacrifice to it. Number two, what needs to prove itself to you that it's a God, so that you'll be convinced that then you worship it, and then he will say you're his chosen tribe. This is not a God that I understand, because the God doesn't. The divine all is just pure grace. It's just the presence of everything. It doesn't need you to sacrifice something that is created to it. When you contemplate this simple logic about any god, pagan god, deity, be that left or right, dark or light, sacrifice is delusion, illusion, and obscurity. It's obtuse. It doesn't need it to be done. Anything that you think of God's asking you for it, then I ask you to understand, inside of yourselves, choose what you think is the divine that you're really seeking. I will lay before you the ages after the sacrifice. You have loved to search me out, but abstain from every form of food that proceeds out of the fire 40 days, and then set forth for me the sacrifice. So it's another ritual he's asking for. Messengers came who are sent to me, the likeness of a man. He's basically talking about archangels, usually Michael or some other. Here it's called Yahuel. And grasped me by my right hand and set me up on my feet. Strengthen death, a name of God who loves you. I am called Yahuel. I virtue in the ineffable name. I am one who has been given to restraint. I have been sent to bless you now, and the land which the perpetual one has prepared for you. Go fulfill the sacrifices commanded. I did everything according to the commandment. I saw the Lord speak. This is ungodliness. This is Azazel. I saw the birds. I think this is the Lord speak. This is Azazel. Disgrace on you, Azazel. Abraham's lot is in heaven, but yours is on earth. So basically, he saw the bird speak to him, but he's saying this messenger is saying, don't listen to this bird because it's the devil, basically Azazel coming to distract you. And he's saying to the messenger is saying back to the bird, disgrace to Azazel for speaking to him that his lot is in earth and Abraham's lot is in heaven. The chosen and loved this for the dwelling place of your uncleanliness. You chose, so Azazel chose it. The mighty one has not permitted that the bodies of the righteous should be in your hand. Go away from me with shame, you cannot lead him astray. The messengers who had the portions of the sacrifices ascended from the top of the smoking furnace. I recited, he also himself recited the song with me. Perpetual mighty, holy El, God alone. Supreme, all self-existent, incorruptible, spotless, uncreated, without father, without mother, exalted, fiery one, lover of men, benevolent, bountiful, jealous over me, and very compassionate. Eli, that is my God, perpetual, mighty, holy one, holy one of hosts, very glorious, El, Yael. I saw the seventh heaven on which I stood, a fiery, widely extended, and light and dew, and a multitude of messengers. The sixth heaven, and I saw a multitude of messengers, pure spirit without bodies, who carried out the commands of the fiery messengers, who were the eighth heaven. This is the spirit without bodies. This is how Yeshua appeared to his disciples after death. He didn't appear in form. He didn't walk on physical body after that. Okay, the number of stars and their power. So will I make you a seed, a nation, and a people, set apart from me in my heritage with Azazel. Now look beneath your feet, understand the creation foreshadowed in this expanse, the earth and its fruits and what moved on it, and its animate beings. O godliness of their souls, righteous deeds, lower regions, perdition therein, the abyss. I saw there the Garden of Eden. Almighty One, what is this picture of the creatures? This is my will, who are the people. Left aside are the multitudes of people, formerly being in the existence, in which are destined after you. Some for judgment and restoration, and others for vengeance. The right side, people set apart for me, of the peoples with Azazel. So basically saying on the right hand side he's got his chosen, and the left are the others, and there's many in the multitude in the middle. Azazel being the one who rules all those who drift to the left, who choose the left rather. I have deigned to be born of you and to be called my people. Look again, who seduced Eve. You are well leasing in my sight, the side of the Garden of Eden. There a man very great is high in height and fearful in breath, embracing a woman, standing under a tree, behind a tree, a serpent in form, having hands and feet like a man, and wings on its shoulders. This is the human world, this is Adam. Between them represents God and godliness, the beginning on the way to perdition, even Azazel, they who will do evil, over them I give him power. Now look at everything in the picture. Cain, who acted lawlessly through the adversary. I also saw impurity, jealousy, corruption. I saw naked men there, an altar, and on it a boy slain in the presence of the idol. The temple and the altar, beauty in my idea of the priesthood of my glorious name. Rise the kings and the prophets, and whatever sacrifice ordained to be offered to me among the men who you saw slaughtering, that is he who incites murderous sacrifices. Show me rather those who fulfill the commandments. The time of righteous meets them first through the holiness from kings and the righteous dealing rulers who I at first created in order from such to rule among them. He showed me a multitude of his people. So this is kind of confusing. It says he will take peoples who don't sacrifice and sacrifice other small children and virginal women, which are basically babies and kids. These are natures of Azazel, worshipping Azazel, idols, or Satanists, or Luciferian worship. Then he goes, he will take those who rather fulfill the commandments. But it's also in the many passages of the Apocrypha asking for sacrifice to be made. We also asks, remember, Abraham to take his son Isaac into the mountain to actually prove his devotion to him by sacrificing him, and waits until he's about to sacrifice him, and then he stops it, just to prove that he would actually go through with it and his devotion is true. This is a very, very obscure way of being a God, I would suggest. Okay, thank you for listening to Revelation of Abraham. I thank you, and remember, second coming is you, transformative, is always you, it's foundational, it's concrete. Be that which you seek to pursue, remember. That is not temporary. It is transformative. It is you, and the coming and becoming is the Christ or the Buddha or the Krishna or all other manifestations within you coming out in one single gnosis as one towards grace itself. So okay, well, so thank you again for listening to this. I'll put the camera back on. I'm glad it's not all freezing again, and I appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Please pass this on to anyone who may listen. Remember, this I do this for you to contemplate and reveal to yourself your journey. You will change it. Be open to change. Be open to flexibility. Be open to gnosis of all kinds. I will go through all forms of scripture. I'll also go through, at some point, text of loss. This is way into the future. There's a lot of time for all of this. It's going to take a lot of time, but I hope it helps you in your journey. I hope I help you on your journey. I hope my own teachings help you and your understanding helps you. God bless you all. Until next time, thank you.